Hello there. Thank you so much for joining us. This is News Channel Nebraska. My name's Eric McKay. Let's take a look at our top headlines today. Nebraska missed out on the worst of the severe weather Wednesday night, but our neighbors to the south weren't so lucky. It was a night of tornado reports and huge hail for eastern and northern Kansas. Tracking along the I-70 corridor, tornado sightings reported by law enforcement and weather spotters near towns like Alta Vista, Alma, and Rossville, Kansas. Those are towns southeast and east of Manhattan. There were confirmed twisters on the ground. Those prompted tornado warnings Wednesday evening. So far, there have been no reports of significant damage associated with the reported tornadoes. But there was grapefruit-sized hail reported just southwest of Alma, Kansas, southeast of Manhattan. Baseball-sized hail reported at Grandview Plaza, southwest of Manhattan, along I-70, while golf ball to tennis ball-sized hail was reported a few miles farther east. The storms did move northeast, but areas of southeast Nebraska largely escaped the severe weather. Marshall and Nemaha counties in northeast Kansas along the state line had severe thunderstorm warnings Wednesday evening. Shocking news out of the University of Nebraska. Trev Alberts gone, departing the program after accepting a job at Texas A&M, leaving behind a pool of questions. Andrew Pfeiffer and Jake Bartecki have more.
Well, in news that appeared rather quickly, Nebraska now doesn't have an athletic director. Trev Alberts has departed from the program and is now heading to Texas A&M. Hi, Andrew Pfeiffer. I'm standing here alongside NCN Sports Now, Jake Bartecki. Jake, who would have saw this coming?
Not me. I think if you told me when I woke up this morning that I'd be covering Nebraska losing their athletic director who's done a lot of great things for the university, would have told you you're crazy. But lo and behold, about 30 minutes after I got up, that's the text I got. And, it was a lot of sitting around and a lot of waiting. And my guess is that Trev Alberts probably had till the end of the day to make an announcement, which he did kind of right before 5 o'clock. You think the 9 to 5 kind of thing. 5 o'clock is about when I found out. You had a lot of back and forth as well. I mean, Chris Kaborik had said he had never been informed that Trev Alberts had been leaving. Nebraska's director of communications said the same thing. You had officials from Texas A&M saying that they hadn't had anything confirmed. And then obviously the email comes out where Trev Alberts let everybody within the athletic department, everyone with the Huskers know that he was moving on. And you read the statement, and the big thing he harped on is leadership's a very important part of college sports right now. And it's kind of what we saw from Trev here. I mean, he was huge in NIL, influential in getting Volleyball Day in Nebraska to be the highest attended women's sporting event in the world, 92,000 plus at that game. And obviously hiring Matt Rule. I mean, he did a lot of leadership quality things while in Lincoln.
A lot of influential things that Trev Alberts was able to do. He has definitely the accolades that he's accumulated within the past few seasons at Nebraska. And now all of a sudden, without a word of caution, he was gone. I mean, it started with just speculation, eventually evolved into there was a decision, and then that involved into he hasn't made a decision, and now all of a sudden here we are without an athletic director at the university. Of course, Trev Alberts is credited for hiring Matt Rule. He is credited with keeping Hoiberg on staff. He brought Volleyball Day to Nebraska, which set the record for most attendance to a volleyball game ever in history. And so he definitely has the resume to back him up for any potential employer. It just was kind of shocking that he went as fast as he did.
Yeah, that's the mystery. That's the big mystery. I sort of feel like everybody I've talked to today, the same response is why? Why now? There's a question as to why this broke so suddenly. Because I think when we all went to bed last night, we probably didn't have a thought of our mind. And that's the unfortunate part about this for Husker athletics, because you look at things, and let's just look at the last week here. Husker baseball is at 10 wins. Husker men's and women's basketball are poised to make the NCAA tournaments and possibly go on a run. Who knows? That's what's so surprising about this happening right now. I mean, it's such a happy point for Husker athletics. I mean, and go back to look at volleyball. Volleyball went to the national championship. Look at football. You bring in the number one recruit in the nation in Dylan Raiola, and you have a pretty good transfer class as well. It's all very strange. And everybody that sort of feels like there's a little sense of unknowing on the outside, everyone that has been covering this all day would say the same thing.
Absolutely. And two of the questions that people are probably going to start posing now is, first of all, why has this been happening? And, details we very much might not even figure out or know about as to why he's taking this job and so suddenly. And the next question is who? And I believe they're going to be wondering who's going to be filling in that athletic director position and how quickly that is going to happen. But that's all we have right now for our coverage. We'll continue to keep you guys updated. I'm Andrew Pfeiffer, along with NCN Sports Now, Jake Bartecki, saying, we're confused, and we're going to see what's going to happen. We'll continue to bring you guys updates as they come throughout the day.
A teen facing charges after leading authorities in northeast Nebraska on a high-speed chase. It happened in Stanton County. Authorities say 19-year-old Cameron Bussinger of Stewart was clocked east of Norfolk, traveling over 100 miles per hour. Authorities say Bussinger fled an attempted traffic stop, reaching speeds as high as 140 miles per hour. Eventually, Stanton County authorities tell us Bussinger crashed his vehicle through a gate in a cattle yard, severely damaging his vehicle. Bussinger was taken into custody. He faces multiple charges, including speeding, flight to avoid arrest, and DWI. Well, the latest inflation numbers released this week. Prices ticked up slightly in February, but there is some good news about the economy. Jen Sullivan breaks down what the latest numbers mean for your wallet.
The latest inflation numbers show consumers are still grappling with higher prices. According to the latest Consumer Price Index report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, prices ticked up 0.4% in February from the month before. And over the last 12 months, prices rose by 3.2%. But the full report has both good and bad news for consumers.
You cannot look at a single data point alone. You have to look at a trend.
Dr. Brian Marks, who teaches at the University of New Haven, says the pandemic drove up inflation. But recent global events are still impacting prices, like Russia's war in Ukraine affecting oil and turmoil in the Middle East diverting shipping routes.
Shippers are paying higher premiums for insurance, and they're passing that along to the extent they can.
While these latest inflation numbers are slightly higher, when we look at the last few years, inflation is much lower than it was in February of 2022. Here's where it's hitting consumers most: housing and gas. Rent in February was about 30% above pre-pandemic levels, according to Zillow. And gas prices are up 3.8%. According to AAA, the national average cost for a gallon of regular gas as of Wednesday was $3.40. Here's some good news. Overall, the price of food did not rise, and hourly wages are rising.
Wages are actually increasing above the rate of inflation, but not by so much that it's putting that upward pressure on pricing.
For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
There is one surprising reason for inflation: car insurance rates. They've been skyrocketing recently, up an average of 21%. That's the highest rate jump since 1976. It's so severe that car insurance premiums alone contributed 0.5 percentage point to the overall 3.2 inflation rate last month. So why is this happening? Well, for one thing, the cost to repair a car up 6.7% for the year. The number of traffic deaths in the U.S. also going up alongside riskier driving behaviors like speeding and texting behind the wheel. Insurers logged losses on 27% of collision claims in 2022. That was 3 points higher than 2021. The healthcare industry hobbled after that recent cyber attack against a major healthcare firm. It's not the only concern for federal investigators right now, and Wednesday they announced they're taking action. John Lawrence has more.
The Department of Health and Human Services is going to put Change Healthcare on the operating table.
The system is fragile to fraud and computer hacking, and that's what happened in this case.
Last month, Change Healthcare was hit with what the American Hospital Association calls, quote, the most significant and consequential cyber attack on the U.S. healthcare system in American history.
It shows how vulnerable our whole system is and how dependent we are on the internet anymore.
The insurance billing firm is involved in roughly 1/3 of U.S. patient records, and the HHS will investigate into whether Change Healthcare properly protected their data in compliance with the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. Meanwhile,
if you're looking at a copay discount card, you're probably not going to be able to use that at this point in time until the system is fixed.
the hack has disrupted medical payments from insurance companies to health providers over the past few weeks, and that's leaving some clinics strapped for cash.
It's very disheartening because we want to deliver the medications to our patients that we serve.
A spokesperson for Change Healthcare and its parent company United Health Group tells CNN it will cooperate with the HHS investigation. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Check your cupboard. Some recalled cashews sold at Walmart could cause life-threatening reactions in some. The Food and Drug Administration recalling 8 1/4 ounce great value honey roasted cashews across the country. That's because some of them contain undeclared coconut and milk products because of incorrect labeling. That could cause serious or life-threatening allergic reactions in some. The FDA says people can discard the cashews or return them to Walmart for a full refund. The Federal Communications Commission considering a new alert system for missing and endangered Native Americans. Thursday, members of the FCC will vote on a new emergency public alert code, much like the severe weather or amber alerts you get. The proposal, the latest federal effort in recent years to address the nationwide crisis of missing and murdered indigenous people. If the proposal passes, the FCC will be seeking public comment before moving forward with a final vote. And an annual Clean City Week campaign of the city of Beatrice has been set for early May. It allows residents to get rid of large items at curbside, then to be hauled away by city street crews using loaders and dump trucks. This year's event will be May 6th, 7th, and 8th. The 9th will be a final day to make pickups that might have been missed. The city officials say the rules of the campaign will stay the same as in recent years.
This year, the rules will still be the same. What we do accept, what we don't accept. We don't accept lumber, we don't accept tires, we don't accept construction debris. It is a residential, this is a large item pickup is what it is. We don't accept bags of clothes or bags of items, and we don't accept boxes.
The drop-off site for old mattresses will again be at the Beatrice Solid Waste Agency landfill compost site. In recent years, Clean City Week was moved from April to May because of the chance for better weather. The program's been offered through the city of Beatrice since 1989, some 35 years now. It's free for residential properties. Anyone interested can register online to participate. You can stay up to date by the very latest by visiting us online. Head to newschannelnebraska.com, click on the News tab there. You can also follow us on X, like us on Facebook and Instagram as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day. You're watching News Channel Nebraska.